Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I am your host Faisal Raza and you are watching Foresight. Viewers, war has always evolved with technology. From highly sophisticated weapons to drones, cyber and space. Now humanoid robots powered by artificial intelligence are set to redefine future battlefields. Now there are lots of questions arises. Can machines be trusted with life and death decisions? What risks emerge from hacking or loss of control? And is Pakistan ready to keep pace as global powers are actually racing towards robotic armies? Today we examine the promises, advantages, perils and implications of the humanoid robot in warfare. To discuss this very important aspect of our today's technological advancement, particularly in battlefields and warfare, we have in our studios Mr. Shaheer Ahmed. He is the research assistant at Center for Aerospace and Security Studies, CAS. Thank you very much, Shaheer, for being with us here in the studios. And Dr. Muhammad Saeed, he is the war technology expert. Thank you very much, Dr. Saeed, for being with us. And
so
online joining us, Dr. Wajahat Mehmood Qazi. He is the artificial intelligence digital transformation advisor and faculty member at the ComSats University, Islamabad, Lahore campus. Thank you very much, Dr. Sir, for being with us online. My first question to you, Shaheer, while the nature of war remains unchanged, its character actually evolves in each new technology. From nuclear weapons, the sophisticated technologies to drones, cyber, space, and now humanoid robots. How will the artificial intelligence-driven humanoid soldiers reshape the future war strategies and the concepts?
Thank you. It is almost certain that the nature of warfare remains unchanged because it is fundamentally a political contest between the two political parties basically. But the character of war, it always evolves with every leap in the technology. Take the example of the cyber, take example of the nuclear weapons and now the humanoid robots. I believe we are entering into the new era of warfare with increased precision, lethality, agility and speed. And when we see the humanoid robots, I believe that the warfare is now being waged not only by the human soldiers, but the humanoid robots and the machines that will collaborate with the humans on the future battlefield. Basically, the humanoid robots, they bring the mobility like the human. Basically, in these environments where the traditional machines often fail to adapt. Take the example of climbing the stairs, climbing ladders, examining the ruins and clearing the urban centers basically. So this is a human-like mobility that the humanoid robots are providing. Secondly, when these humanoid robots are combined with the artificial intelligence, with the AI and other technologies, they bring increased precision and lethality because they are not just moving, they are acting, they are perceiving and they are taking decision autonomously, which provides a room for semi-autonomous and totally autonomous missions that are taken by the humanoid robots basically. With these things, I believe that the humanoid robots will prove instrumental in future regarding the to operate effectively. For example, take the example of the compound clearance, urban center clearances and assisting the infantry troops and all the security apparatuses in assisting their task in the urban centers and the rugged terrains basically. When we see that all in the changing dynamics of the world, the great powers particularly are taking significant leaps in developing the humanoid robots. Take the example of the US, which is currently leading the horizons by the DARPA initiatives and the several humanoid robot initiatives. And most notably, I believe it is the Pentagon joint all-domain command and control concept in which they are planning to facilitate and foster the human-machine teaming, where in some cases the machines will collaborate with the humans and work under their assistance, and in some cases they will work totally autonomously from the human control basically. And similarly, when we see towards China, China is taking significant leaps. They have made headlines by the humanoid robots. They are undertaking the competitions and making significant leaps in that. And yesterday I was watching their state television in which a military exercise was shown where we have seen that the combat exercises are featuring the increased integration between the humans and the robotic like dogs and even the humanoid robots basically, and they are performing increasingly lethal missions and with a very joint and close synergy actually.
And definitely we'll talk in details as we progress. So Dr. Mohammed Saeed, what is the difference between the autonomous machines which are pre-programmed for efficiency and intelligent machines that work on reasoning, the problem solving and advanced artificial intelligence models built on large data sets? So how do you see overall aspect of these autonomous machines? And then, because most of the people in Pakistan don't understand what autonomous machines are and what the intelligence machines are.
Faisal, very interesting question, at the same time very much complex. At the outset, I need to mention that it's the technology which has impacted human life, and it impacted over the spectrum, you know, the entire spectrum. All sectors of human lives have been impacted, and this warfare is not an exception to it. Now, these machines or these technologies impacted on warfare patterns, and we can see that there is a constant change in the patterns of warfare. I mean to say, from this, since the start of the scientific revolution and this industrial revolution, and coming down to advent of artillery and mortars and tanks, then jets, and then the advent of nuclear weapon, we can understand that these technologies impacted on the political patterns. Nevertheless, if we link it to contemporary times, you know, the emerging technologies, and having said this emerging technologies, I mean to say, if we look into these two categories, one is autonomous, the other is intelligent machines. These are the new phenomenon. These are the emerging technologies which have significant impact, not only on the politics, but for sure on the warfare patterns. Now, for the convenience of audience, in order to understand this complex phenomenon, we must understand the biggest difference between the two is, if we talk about autonomous weapons, so they have fixed programmings. I mean to say, they have fixed patterns. On the basis of those patterns,
and they follow that pattern, really.
They follow those patterns, and they basically, they are designed for specific tasks. So
Definitely.
repetitive actions are required, and for that purpose the design is fabricated in a way to do the tasks in a set manner. So there is no adaptability to new situations. There is less room for innovation, keeping in view, you know, coming across some different situation. Nevertheless, on the other hand, the advanced intelligent machines, what they do, they are basically focused on data driven, and huge data sets are there, algorithmic models, machine learning, deep data sets, and among different options, those specific machines, I mean to say advanced intelligent machine, what they do, they choose one option among different. So this means there is unpredictability. This means that yes, on one hand we can generalize the things, but on the other hand we will not be certain that what specific option that machine will be choosing. So the probabilistic behavior of intelligent machines create fear and uncertainty.
At the same time, we are playing with the fireballs, no doubt about that, really, because that machine might act against the instructions, and it is sometimes according to the data sets and even the environment which is available over there. So I'm coming back to you. Dr. Wajahat, humanoid robots are becoming part of the future warfare. How can Pakistan reach that stage? And in our academia and defense industry, especially the private sector, taking any practical steps in that direction, because you are time and again interacting in the private sector and you have lots of experience on doing that, really.
Yes, thank you very much, Faisal. First of all, that when we talk about robotic technologies, and particularly integrated with artificial intelligence, what we need to understand is this, that the modern day robotics are AI driven, number one. Number two, they sense, they adapt, they have cognition, and they act. Having said this, if we take a closer look, we have already witnessed these kind of robotic platforms in action in our recent conflict. because these fifth and sixth generation aircrafts primarily are software-defined robotic platforms, which are integrated with AI-based, sensor fusion, auto evade, and so on and so forth. So we have other, vehicles also, like autonomous underwater vehicles. We have UAVs and so on. So which means naturally the next course of evolution is humanoids. So because after having all these, infrastructures and platforms on the ground, the next step would be to bring humanoids into the battlefield. Because the real question is this, that this is not about what kind of robot is going to play their part in the battlefield. The question is this, that what kind of decision making and autonomy we are going to give them. Because with the recent events, it's very clear that cheap autonomous systems are scalable and they are faster than humans. But it's not only the technology which is going to play a lone part. It is the strategic and the skill also that is going to be utilized over there. So I think that human robots are not a battlefield ready yet, not only in Pakistan, across the globe also, but the kind of use cases and applications the companies are demonstrating, like Boston Dynamics and all those, that clearly suggests that the next step is going to put all those use cases into the real life warfare actions, because the robot that is going to handle ammos can also handle medicines also. You see, the use cases are at cross edges. So if we are building use cases for humanitarian purposes, the same use cases can be easily adapted for the warfare applications also. So talking about Pakistan, I think Pakistan is already on the way, because from academic point of view, yes, we do have the foundation, like we have NCRA, which is a national-wide robotic network. We have Nurse Rice Lab, we have NCAI, we have Intelligent and Machines Robotic Group at ComSys Lahore. They are already working on these directions. We have also witnessed in recent past that some kind of exoskeleton and brain-computer interfacing-based prototypes already exist in our universities. Now, talking about the defense industry, I think publicly there is no explicit, acceptance that humanoid robots are ready for the deployment around the world also. But as I've already mentioned, that they are use cases which are clearly representing the dots where the things are moving on. And private sector, they are at very early stages. In Pakistan, because robotics itself is a very complex cybernetic technology which brings into so many interdisciplinary activities. I know in Lahore, because I'm from Lahore, there are one or two companies like Novatech and so on, which do have some clients who are working on humanoid solutions, but they are at very infancy phases. Yes, Pakistan needs to think about it, because humanoid warfare is no more fiction. It's going to be the next phase. So what I think is it's going to be the three-phase framework. Number one, we should look for dual use case pilot projects, because as I've already mentioned, that the same AI robot that is going to carry ammos in war times can carry medicines in the flood. So dual use case technology gave us dual advantages. Number one, it can share the load with the defense sector. It can give the opportunities for the academic and private sector to grow at the same time. So I think that, and the applications which can be done, which can serve the both purposes, is like we can work on forward operating basis logistics. We can also start working on the CBRN type of projects. We can work on casualty extraction in hard zones. So all these applications and use cases are primarily non-lethal. So they can serve both purposes. We can start with, because procure and localization is very important factor over here, because we have to accept this reality that we don't have the capacity to fabricate these kind of robots locally due to so many reasons. But what we can do is that we do have such robotics commercially available. We can acquire them. We can, after acquiring them, we can modify them by local communication systems, by electronic warfare, hardening and payloads, and passive and active skeleton models can be localized also. We can start working in parallel these twin models for different scenarios, and start focusing on the governance where human in loop as a rule of engagement must be the central core of this thing. So this is going to be the first phase. And then we should
Okay,
move
Dr.
towards the...
Dr. Wajahat, can robotics and artificial intelligence combine to create intelligent machines capable of battlefield reasoning, cognitive support, the friend and foe identification, and the precision targeting of the objects? So, do you think that it could be possible, and it is possible through the technological leap forward?
I think this is not about the possibility, it's already happening, because as I already mentioned that one of the core component for such system is the ability to cognitively respond to the sensory inputs. So when we talk about cognitive responses, it means that if these machines are to be deployed in the battlefield, so the battlefield reasoning is there. Scanning of the terrain is there, distinguishing between the friend and the foe are the primarily use cases which are to build in such machines. So yes, the answer is straightforward. Yes, it is possible, and it is happening as we speak. So what kind of applications with such kind of advancements can bring us is like with battlefield reasoning, with identification of friend and foe, we can simply go for border surveillance, because instead of risking our jawans on night patrols, we can go for hybrid teaming with humans and AI robots all together patrolling the border lines. We can move towards the counter-terror and urban ops, because when we talk about in counter-terror operations, AI robots can enter first. We can detect weapons, identify the threats, and reduce the social casualties. So yes, in simple words, robotic and AI in together can create battlefield intelligence. But for Pakistan, the smart strategy is once again to move towards the dual use. That way, every rupee spent on defensive robotics can also strengthen the civilian infrastructure.
Your point well taken, Dr. Wajahat. Dr. Saeed, the human fully trusts machines or robots in warfare, especially with the unresolved black box problems, where we may not know how, why, or at what stage an artificial intelligence system made a particular decision.
Faisal, this black box problem is a severe concern for humanity. I mean to say, these advanced intelligent machines, for sure, they can think, they can make decisions, they can provide you with the solution. Nevertheless, these AI technologies, these advanced technologies, basically they operate apically. And this makes it, very dangerous situation for the world. I mean to say, there can be bias in the data set. These machines basically work on deep learning, and they look into the situation, keeping in view the specific instructions, specific patterns. I mean to say, keeping in view the large data set, they can misidentify the target. They can misinterpret the instructions, and that can come up with lethal consequences. So I think that there is a serious ethical dilemma, and humanity is required to look into it. No doubt about it, change is constant. We cannot stop the technological advancement, but what we are required to do, we need to come up with some international regime which look into these affairs. There is no such regime as for now. There is no cover of international law as for now. So, and then there is a race between the great powers, and that vicious cycle is pushing all the states across the world to acquire these technologies. So what is going to happen? Keeping in view the unpredictability, keeping in view the probabilistic nature of these technologies, keeping in view the generalization, I think that humanity is going to face some serious troubles. And in this regard, if I give you examples of some of the technologies, like if you look into lavender, if you look into gospel, if you look into the where's daddy, so the misinterpretations of the command and at the same time misidentification of the target resulted in killing of thousands of people, innocent civilians, and I'm referring to this Israel-Palestine conflict. Israel has used technologies, modern technologies,
artificial
advanced technologies,
intelligence-driven technologies,
and that resulted in killing of thousands of people.
And lots of autonomous drones and all that.
I agree, and it's not about Israel-Palestine conflict only. If you look into Russia-Ukraine conflict, if you look into this India-Pakistan conflict of May 2025, these emerging technologies has changed the patterns of warfare. So what is required to be done? The international community, the stakeholders need to come together, and they need to look into the lethality and the risky situation. Otherwise, the humanity is going to witness some fatal consequences.
No doubt, no doubt. Shaheer, is human-machine collaboration or human-machine teaming possible in the battlefield, where humanoid robots take autonomous real-time decisions, yet still obey human commanders and achieve results jointly with soldiers? Do you think that it is like that, or it is going to be changed?
Absolutely, it's not only possible, but it's inevitable in the future too. And we are seeing many instances in the battlefield, be it in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, then that the human-machine teaming concept has actually materialized in practicality, basically. And it has become a catchphrase in the academic and also the policy discourse in this regard about the future of the human-machine teaming in the warfare. So I believe that future is moving to a shared autonomy. And key and the heart of the concept, the heart of the human-machine teaming concept lies in the Centaur system, where in which we are aimed at the machine speed, but it is regulated by the human control. And as I have cited previously, the examples of the US, China, and India, the most underrated example in this regard is South Korea. Their Defense Acquisition Program Association has launched a program that is basically developing the fully humanoid and semi-humanoid robots, which are basically aimed to assist the infantry troops and their security and law enforcement agencies. And these robots are capable of terrain clearance. They are capable of lifting the heavy gears. They are capable of doing the terrain clearance, urban center clearance, and providing the assistance to the troops in surveillance and reconnaissance tasks, basically. And when we see this, this is actually a collaborative design philosophy, which is aimed at fostering the collaboration between the humans and the intelligence system, as Dr. Saab has mentioned. And this collaborative design philosophy is not only aimed at the complete autonomy, but at the supervised autonomy. That is basically being guided or dictated by the human designed rules of engagement, their design constraints, their design objectives. And even if we see currently in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, the intelligence systems are basically programmed and they are working independently in the operational systems, but they are basically guided and they are performing their capabilities, and they are acting on the battlefield under the supervision of the human control, basically. And so this collaborative human design philosophy, if I explain it in layman terms, think of it like a chess game where humans are basically the master strategists. They are setting the rules, they are setting the objectives, they are setting the constraints. And these humanoid robots are basically the advanced chess pieces, which are basically making the moves by increased precision, lethality, adaptation, and speed. So it is not, I believe, that the man versus machine, but it is the man and machine together making the decisions and fighting on the future battlefield.
Your point well taken. Dr. Wajahat, how do you view the future of humanoid robot autonomous systems, from drones, guns, tanks, artillery, and the fighter jets to submarines, forming robotic units or squadrons with artificial intelligence-driven efficiency and problem solving?
It will be more likely to transcend to the next level, where the technology singularity is going to occur, where all these kind of technologies and humans as technology are going to integrate to form a singular, unit. Imagine that we have a robotic squadron, drones providing surveillances, autonomous ground robots creating supplies, and all those things. And AI is coordinating with them like a team member. US is already calling this kind of approach as a mosaic warfare approach, and China is calling it as an intelligentized warfare. So the advantage which is going to bring in is the speed and efficiency, where machines are going to share the data, adapting to the changing threats, and execute maneuvers faster than humans could directly. Now, the interesting point over here is that this AI and robotics are already right now present over here. So the things are not going to end over here. The next phase in this evolution is soft robotics, cybernetics, or cyborgs, where machines and humans are going to integrate into a single technology. And then we are moving towards artificial life and nano robots with intelligence. So these are things which are already on the play. For example, if we consider that what kind of post sixth generation warfare is going to be like, it is going to be human centric with multimodal fought across land, sea, air, space, cyber, cognitive, and socioeconomic domains. So this is not traditional anymore. Soldiers may not always be wearing, uniforms, and the battlefield is not going to be the air or space like traditional boundaries. They are merging physically, digitally, economically, socially into a single continuum of conflict. So this is very complex kind of scenario which is happening at this time. And from this point of view, what we need to say is that in future, the AI-driven disinformation campaigns on social media, computational propaganda, and all those things are right now happening in this time. So geography itself is blurred, as strikes in cyberspace can cripple power grids and hospitals and so on and so forth. So what does this means for us? This means that the future warfare is not as we are seeing at this time. And the most important point over here is that when we say that semi-autonomous or autonomous machines or keeping humans in the loop, they are just phrases, because we have already accepted the idea of semi-autonomous or hybrid autonomy to the machines. Coming from the background of AI, if we look into the depth of AI is not about assistive technology. This is about the domain controlling in a way. If we look closer, this already has happened at the consumer level. So what this really means for us, that this means that the type of complexity which is emerging at this time, we are going to face in a multimodal warfare. We need to establish some parameters to trust these machines and give autonomy to them. Eventually, this is going to happen, not today, but in near future. So the question is this, that are we ready for it? Or still we want to pretend that these things are far away from happening? So I think the future is already here. The complexity is over here. This cybernetic, infrastructure is already on the play. The pathway is very clear. So the future holds.
Definitely, the future is here, and these are the humans who have to decide that whether we have to give how much autonomy to the machines, and particularly when we are talking about that how to use these machines in advantage rather than creating a challenge for ourselves. So your point well taken, Dr. Wajahat. Shaheer, how can Pakistan collaborate particularly with China, which is advancing humanoid robots, and reportedly, as you have rightly mentioned about, there are reports that in China is planning a battalion of 500 robotic troops integrated into an intelligent command network for border and sensitive duties. So how do you see such a scenario, if that has evolved or that is there practically? So how Pakistan and China can collaborate in that form of technology? And how we can actually distinguish between that these troops are for the good and for the protection of the humans rather than to be for the destruction?
Well, that's a very significant question in this regard, and Pakistan and China have a shared history on technological collaboration. And when we talk about the robust collaboration between both countries, I believe we are having a handful of center of excellences.
Yes.
One Dr. Sahab mentioned that is in NUST, and also various departments which are focusing on the robotics and automation and several aspects of the technology. So I believe that Pakistan could foster a meaningful collaboration with this solid foundation with China by leveraging their advanced technologies, by leveraging their experience and expertise in the robotic sciences and technology. We can also combine this with a dual-pronged strategy of the indigenization and the procurements, combining the indigenization with the procurements from China. So there are several key pathways which we can follow in this regard. Firstly is the joint research projects with the Chinese entities and Chinese departments. Let's take the example of our Center of Excellences, our departments, our labs, which are jointly collaborating with the Chinese departments, such as they have a very good innovation center in the Beijing, that is the Beijing Humanoid Robot Innovation Center. So we can collaborate collaborate on that. Secondly, we do have some exchange programs. We should focus upon that, our engineers, our scientists and our practitioners should get hand-on experience in the industry, in the Chinese advanced industry. So this will not only collaborate and contribute to the capacity building, but it will also enhance our institutional capacity.
Definitely, there are lots of advantages
Yes.
of the robotic science because they are in use in automobile industry and different sort of medicine industry, research and all that. So they could be advantages as well. But right now we are talking about the warfare,
Yes.
so that's why we are focused on that.
Yes.
So please continue.
Yes, exactly. And then the second aspect of the question, that how can we distinguish between the bad and good aspect of this technology? So I believe that Pakistan and China should conduct the joint field test of these robotic technologies, make them exposed to the conflict-prone areas and the sensitive border zones where they can perform the tailored military task for which they are designed, basically. So this will help in distinguishing the bad, basically acknowledging the benefits of the technology while also associating the pitfalls of it. And secondly, building a robust, resilient ecosystem such as we are having in Pakistan in the face of National Aerospace and Technology Park. We can also utilize such kind of ecosystems to put forward a meaningful collaboration with China in this regard.
You're
have Center
talking
of
about
Excellences. Yes, I am talking about NASTAB. We are having Center of Excellences. So these institutions can provide a cornerstone and a building block for this meaningful collaboration with China on this regard.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Dr. Saeed, with Russia creating a robotic army, China is also working on these battalions, and the US advancing in humanoid robots for vehicles, tanks, and the drone control. Alongside low Earth robotics like flying taxis and drones, how close are we to humanoid robots dominating the battlefields, and what changes will they bring actually to warfare and the daily life? Because that will change the whole scenario, not only the warfare but also the daily life of the humans as well.
Indeed. Okay, Faisal, first this AI. If you look into this AI, and if we look into the technological advancements, so we can distinct or we can differentiate the history into two categories. I mean to say, one is pre-artificial intelligence era, the other is post-artificial intelligence era. And we, the humans, let me express, we haven't absorbed the technological advancement which we are witnessing over the years, over the decades, or maybe over the centuries. Nevertheless, this AI and these AI technologies in shape of...
not absorbed, or we don't want to absorb?
I think we want to, but there are limitations, severe human limitations.
And there is a technological divide across the world.
No doubt about it. That divide is very much evident with respect to if you're talking about global south and north. Nevertheless, what I am referring to that this technological advancement has impacted on us, and we haven't absorbed the impact on our individual life and cultural life and ideology, and then you can link that to politics too. Nevertheless, this artificial intelligence is coming up with drastic changes. The humanity will be witnessing the things which I personally think will be very much difficult for us to adopt. I mean to say, it will be difficult for us to adapt and then innovate. Nevertheless, as I mentioned earlier, change is constant. We cannot stop the change. Now, what Russia is doing? Russia is building robotic army. What US and China are doing, they are focusing on, building capabilities related to this humanoid robots. So what will happen? The collaboration between AI and robotic, these will enhance lethal capabilities. Not only lethal capabilities, but also, if you look into it, these different countries, different powers, be that US, be that China, be that Russia, including India and Pakistan, they are innovating their war fighting strategies and doctrines. So on one hand, we have these offensive technologies, lethal offensive technologies. On the other hand, we are coming up with dangerous strategies and doctrines. I can give you the example of Indian offensive doctrines, be that Joint Doctrine of Indian Armed Forces 2017, be that Land Warfare Doctrine of 2018, and its impact can be witnessed in shape of this May 2025 crisis, where India indulge in adventurous, ambitious approach. And under the nuclearized environment, India attacked Pakistan. So what I mean to say that these robotics, these AI technologies, they are dangerous, and there need to be some mechanism for it.
Particularly when we are talking about the battlefield
And Faisal,
environment.
one thing, you know, it's not about state only. What about human security? These AI technologies, the privacy of our humans, the privacy, the security, what about them? So international law, international community need to raise to the occasion, and there need to be some mechanism to look into these lethal technologies in order to safeguard humanity from the
Definitely, international
consequences,
instruments
lethal
must have to be
consequences.
there, no
Yeah.
doubt about that. Dr. Wajahat, if humanoid robotic soldiers operate through artificial intelligence, algorithms and softwares, what risks emerge if this data is hacked, corrupted or manipulated through the cyber and electronic warfare? And could these robots turn against their own commanders?
I think this is a very critical question because an intelligent machine, whether it's a simple robot or it's a human robot, is only as loyal as its software is secure. So if hacked, they become the traitor in the uniform. So cyber defense is the new armor for tomorrow's cyber physical armies. As we speak, that different countries are already on that road. So indeed, they run on the algorithms and data streams. So what does this mean for us is that if the enemy penetrates the command link or poisons the data stream, the machines could misidentify, misclassify the friend, the foe. They can ignore commands and even be hijacked, or they can act against their own side. So without secure communication, encryption, and all those technological safe points not in place properly, the human soldier is not just an asset; it will become the liability on the battlefield. So at the same time, we must not ignore the emerging trends, which and the challenges with soft robots, quantum AI, and artificial life is also throwing towards us. So with all these things happening at the same time, what does this mean is that we are going to face three levels of threat. Number one, technical risks at system level, because when the data is corrupted, the command link is hacked, the sensors are spoofing. So the outcome is very straightforward. It's malfunction, unintended actions. The friendly fire accident will happen. Number two, the technical risk at battlefield turned against your own forces, disruption of the operations, this technological warfare. The outcome is battlefield chaos, collapse of unit cohesion. So what does this mean is that the battlefield the trust is everything. If machines cannot be trusted, the game is over for everybody. Third level is the strategic risk at national and global level, because such things will eventually move towards massive hijack, proxy sabotage, escalation, and malfunction and manipulation that leads to unintended attacks, as I've already mentioned. So this is going to become a national security risk, destabilization, and diplomatic fallout. So a hacked robot is not just the battlefield risk; it is going to be the national security weapon in the enemy hand, which was supposed to operate for us. So that's the reason the cybersecurity, at the same time, the human override systems must be in place. The robotic soldier without the cyber armor, cybersecurity is more dangerous than the enemy which we are facing on the battlefield. So yes, we need to think about it. We need to establish our own indigenous frameworks, that how to prevent our technologies, our infrastructures, our platforms from such cyber threats.
Definitely, your point well taken. Shaheer, as war evolve with the humanoid robots, drones and autonomous systems, how will military doctrines and the strategies need to change, number one? And could that reduce the human cost of war, make future conflict more frequent and more dangerous?
Yes, absolutely. This is a point of concern that has been raised among the policymakers and also the military practitioners. I believe that with the advent of the humanoid robots and also the arrival of cutting edge technologies, the speed of the technological change has been at so rapid pace that it is inconceivable with the human reaction time, basically. So when we see that, there will be a definite change in the doctrinal and strategic patterns, basically. the military commanders should have to give up the traditional force-to-force postures and force-to-force patterns over a more hybrid warfare paradigm, basically, where rapid decision-making, where data dominance, algorithmic control, and information dominance will be necessary to prevail in any future conflict. Let's take the example of this whole India-Pakistan scenario, in which the network-centric warfare was central in guaranteeing the victory of the PF over the numerically superior IAF, basically.
Enemy, yes.
And I believe that in future, military commanders should have to focus on a numerous array of things. First is a focus upon the network-centric warfare. Advanced sensors, controls, and also the communication systems should be central in basically advancing the humanoid robots. So network-centric warfare will be central in this regard. And secondly, enacting the ethical and regulatory frameworks is necessary, because when the kill chain is left on the mercy of the machines, so it is basically raises an ethical dilemma, be it in the form of bot strikes, be it the form of collateral damage. And thirdly, I believe that multi-domain operations will be central in the future. So the robots and all the other technologies which are advancing and maturing with time, so we need to integrate with all the traditional domains of air, sea, land, cyber, and space. So to basically integrate them in the force posture and make them a true force multiplier in this regard. So these are the things I believe the military planners will have to acknowledge in the future. But I believe that with these benefits, it is necessary that we must acknowledge the pitfalls of these technologies. Firstly is that in the previous question you have raised that what if the humanoid robots are hacked? They are basically vulnerable to the hacking, jamming, spoofing. So, and basically not only jamming, spoofing, and hacking, but also in the chaotic environment in the rugged terrains where their performance is minimized due to various figures which can be exploited by the nefarious actors, which can be exploited by the adversaries. Secondly, I believe that when they are on the mercy of the jamming, hacking, and spoofing, there is also a risk of inadvertent escalation when there is a reduced factor of human involvement in the war. And when there is a reduced human involvement in the war, there is a risk of unintended outcomes, unintended escalation, and military planners could be more prone to initiate the conflicts due to the
Definitely, that could be
of
more disastrous, as the humans are tantamount to have a kind of an escalation ladder,
Exactly.
and they always follow that. But unfortunately, if that is autonomous or that is totally humanoid upon humanoid robots with the artificial intelligence, and they are on their own decisions, then that escalation ladder might escalate more, really. So, Dr. Saeed, given the enormous costs of developing, producing, and maintaining humanoid robot forces, how can countries like Pakistan build an indigenous industrial and economic base, and what role should the private sector, innovation, and academia play in bridging this gap?
Faisal, first and foremost, political will is required to ascertain the challenges of the contemporary times, keeping in view these emerging technologies, keeping in view this AI-laced technologies, number one. And then when there will be a consensus among the stakeholders, we need to come up with comprehensive and holistic strategy. I mean to say, Pakistan need to devise a strategy, a policy of national level, covering all aspects, be that civilian, be that industrial, be that agricultural, and particularly defense. So how we are going to cope up with the challenge? I think there is a need for public-private partnership. When I say public-private partnership, so I mean to say there need to be defense industrial partnership, and that should be based on research and development. Research and development is key to understand the phenomenon what are happening, not only what is happening, but what the future is. And let me express, future is here, and this is what the stakeholders need to understand. And academia and think tanks, you know, there is a need for a collaboration between academia and think tanks, which is lacking. This is what my personal observation is. We must
Academia,
invest.
think tanks plus the industry, because
Yes, all
interlinkages are
stakeholders.
necessary.
We need to invest time and resources and energies in order to comprehend about the phenomenon which we are witnessing, and for sure intricacies and complexities are involved in it. So academia, industry, academia, defense, academia, think tanks, collaboration is mandatory in order to ascertain the things. Having said this, I think that full humanoid robots, I don't think that it is possible for a country like Pakistan to have the same in like 4 or 5 years time. Nevertheless, as I mentioned earlier, we must do R&D. We must be focused, and we need to do this R&D in order to meet the challenges.
At least we have to continue this research and development in this area, because that is necessary. So we have run short of time, so your point well taken. Dr. Wajahat, one last question, and be brief on that. Who will bear the legal and the moral responsibility for the battlefield actions if humanoid robots and the artificial intelligence driven machines are employed in combat? The programmer, the commander, or the state? And should there be international treaties to regulate, or in case of their harmfulness, ban such killer robots? Because Pakistan advocated in 2013 with at least couple of papers in the disarmament negotiations in Geneva that such type of killer robots or robotic soldiers must have to be prohibited, banned. What do you say on that?
Yes, first of all, yes, it's a very tricky part, because if there are killer robots or due to some malfunction, the robot kills somebody, who is going to be blamed for that, for who is responsible. So internationally, there is a framework in which we do not actually prosecute machines for it. Rather, there are three actors in the play. Number one, the software engineer who has designed the code, the commander who has deployed the robot, and ultimately the state that has authorized it. Just consider this thing as a nuclear bomb, a nuclear facility. The AI or the AI-based robots are new A bombs. So yes, internationally, the people are talking about different treaties. We have witnessed some treaties happening in the past. So the argument is this, that can we ban the advancement of these technologies, the weaponization of AI, as we have banned, chemical weapons? There are both arguments which exist. Some says yes, it should be as strict as the nuclear arms, and there are the people who actually support
It's not banning the technology. It's banning the killer robots or the humanoid soldiers. It's not like that. So thank you very much, Dr. Wajahat, for your presence online, because we have run short of time. I'm so sorry I have to cut it short. So thank you very much, Dr. Saeed. Thank you very much, Shaheer, for being with us here in the studios. Viewers, as you have just listened to analysts, it is important that humanoid robots must be, as it is, these are swiftly turning in sophistication and lethality as well. Autonomous intelligence machines, they are putting significant impacts on the war concepts overall, and even the human life. Autonomous decisions making must have to be scalable. Humanoid autonomous robots must be under human control. That is very important. In battlefield particularly, the robots must be with reasoning, friend and foe identification, hybrid teaming. That is very important, but the command and control must have to be in humans' hand. We can get lots of advantages, like use of these humanoid robots in the counter-terrorism operations, into the disasters, the border surveillance, and lots of others. Humanoid robots can be advantages for the humankind. But when we are talking about their lethal use, particularly as the humanoid robotic soldiers or as a killer machine, that is going to be disastrous for humanity. Pakistan is working on the robotic technologies, but we have to work more, particularly in the industrial use. There must have to be academia think tank industry linkages in between and with the defense aspects as well. We must have to create some sort of a pilot projects regarding the non-lethal co-production of the autonomous machines or the robotics in cooperation with the countries like the friendly country like China. We can have the joint research projects, innovation and the research centers, joint field test as well in the robotic technologies. But one thing we must have to think about, that if the command links hacked, if they turn against their own soldiers or armies, if the robots are going to be lethal, then there could be a huge challenge for the humanity. We have to resolve these black box problems and the biased data issues and even the corrupt softwares and link hacking or data link hacking even. In the multi-domain operations in this overall spectrum and the network-centric warfare, that is very important, where the control must have to be with the humans. And we have to think about it, the legal instruments to regulate these humanoid robotic soldiers, the killer machines, or even the humanoid robots. So this is all from today's Foresight. It's time to sign off. Allah Hafiz.